My name's Kevin Gelwicks, and I'm a fish biologist for the Wyoming Game and Fish Department. I'm here today to interview Bob Wiley, retired Wyoming Game and Fish Department employee and Hall of Excellence member. Bob, how did you become involved in the American Fisheries Society, and how did you decide to be part of the fisheries management section?
Well, it was 1961 when I went to Humboldt State, had an ichthyology professor, George Allen, who encouraged all his students to join the American Fisheries Society, and I did that. And I decided the fisheries management section would be beneficial, worthwhile, because it's relevant to the profession.
How did being involved with AFS help your career?
Oh, it broadened my fisheries views, largely through the people I met, presentations I listened to. If it hadn't been for society fisheries meetings, I wouldn't have met well-known people, well-known for the papers, published papers that I'd written. Guys like W. Ricker, R.A. Ryder, and other ones.
Did you have a mentor or individuals who greatly influenced your career?
Yes, there were 5 individuals. I better shorten up what I'm going to say, or it'll take all morning. The first fellow taught me that fisheries work should be fun, even though you work dawn till dusk in those days. And the other 4, were 3 of them were World War II veterans, and all 4 of those people were involved with the Flaming Gorge Reservoir Research Project. Met with them twice a year, and they would ask the deepest questions they could think of to make us field people think about that. And once we convinced them that what we planned to do was correct, then we had allies all the way through administration, and that was a good thing. So that's what they did for me.
Did you ever consider other careers, and why?
Well, when I first went to college, it was a junior college in my hometown, Fullerton, California. All I had in outdoors type programs was forestry. So I spent 2 years in that before I went to Humboldt State in Northern California and switched to fisheries, which was a really good thing to do.
How do you think AFS can help prepare our profession for the challenges ahead?
Well, to identify the fisheries issues, see that they're well understood, have views and opinions about those that are direct and not vague, and then proceed with that kind of information so that all of us professionals will be supported and educated a little by the society.
What does being inducted into the Hall of Excellence mean to you?
It's really very humbling to realize that the peers who reviewed the nomination form, or whatever it is, would select me for induction into the Hall of Excellence. That's an amazing thing to me, from a little state like Wyoming.
What do you believe is your biggest contribution to fisheries?
Well, I thought about that a lot. One of the presentations I made in the 1990s, 93 I think, at the Useness and Effects of Cultures Fishing Symposium in Albuquerque. That paper was titled Common Sense Protocol for the Use of Hatchery Reared Trout. Got published and received a lot of correspondence about that. The other one is that when I became responsible for fisheries management, folks throughout the state, I wrote them a letter that said, thoughts that make my fisheries mind work. And so I explained what I was all about and what I thought, so that it had been my experience that many administrators were very vague about the answers they gave because they didn't want somebody to not like them. So I thought that was important to tell the people I was responsible for what I thought and what my views were.
What words of wisdom do you share with students and young biologists?
Okay. Whenever they go to fisheries meetings of any kind, but especially AFS ones like a national meeting or a division meeting, don't spend all your time with the same group of people. Go around and meet the people you've always heard about and never met, because you'll find out that most of them are really nice people, willing to talk, share information, and all that.
I'd like to ask your thoughts about other inductees. Which fellow inductees influenced you the most, and how?
Well, Fred Eiserman was my supervisor during most of my time, well, a great deal of my time in Wyoming. Fred was unique because not only did he know the people he was responsible for, he made it a point to know the names of their family members, and he always remembered that. Plus the fact that he asked those deep and probing questions that made you think. And as I said before, when you convinced him that you were right, that was good enough for him. He was then an ally. And the other two would be Lee Redman and Dick Ryder, but they influenced me from the AFS perspective, because both of me, big enough to be two, both of them offered me the opportunity to chair a committee on AFS governance, and that was a lot of fun. I learned a lot of things and got to make presentations before the governing board. That was good.